Hey, Bankless Nation, this is TLDR, where we catch you up on all the headlines and important narratives from around the Bankless ecosystem. For everything we talk about here, there are going to be links down in the show notes so you can do a deeper dive into any of these topics. Before we get into it, I want to shout out PoolTogether, DeFi's no-loss lottery protocol. PoolTogether lets you deposit into any prize pool and get tickets for weekly drawings, and you can also remove your funds at any time. Go to bankless.cc/pooltogether to learn more. Also, fun fact, we had Leighton Cusack, the founder of PoolTogether, on Top Signal this week, where the gang plays chess with Alexandra Botez, and it does not disappoint. The first thing we're talking about today is the absolute insane amount of energy surrounding the NFT, profile picture, avatar, generative art game. If you pay any attention at all to crypto Twitter, you will have heard about Pudgy Penguins, which is absolutely taking over right now. There are 8,888 of these guys, and they have taken off in the past week, and I think their floor is like at 3 ETH right now.
These whole NFT avatar games, they are literally games of just like, do we like the way these things look? And like, so like the fundamentals on these penguins are like, they're really cute. They're really cute little drawings. That's like the fundamentals behind this project.
Most of the buying and selling of these penguins is happening on OpenSea, which is doing a crazy amount of volume right now. And thanks to EIP 1559, volume means that Ether is getting burnt. OpenSea has burned over 4,500 ETH in the last week on its own. So whether you love penguins or you hate them, they are making ETH more scarce, so you're welcome. And more broadly, generative NFT art has been around since 2017 with things like CryptoPunks, but it really feels like the space is just getting started. And I really think that there are limitless possibilities to what can happen when you combine DeFi, culture, ownership, and interactivity. Next up is the U.S. infrastructure bill, which was a huge topic last week, but it definitely spilled over into this week too, as the bill passed through the Senate. This monster bill is like 3,000 pages long, and it included some really uninformed and frankly disappointing legislation about crypto. It basically implied that every party involved in the industry would have to register as a broker and report to the IRS. And the TLDR here is that this would be super unrealistic to enforce and generally demonstrated that Congress does not know at all what it's talking about when it comes to crypto. It was cool to see the community rallying around this, and it was encouraging to see the influence that like we can have when we all come together and coordinate around a particular cause. It's not that we don't want regulation or to be like shadowy supercoder outlaws like Elizabeth Warren said. It's just that we want clear, thoughtful, and effective involvement from nation states. And to my understanding, we're all on the same team here. It's very clear that the crypto industry wants to move forward into a better, freer, fairer world and provide socioeconomic opportunities and public goods for everyone. On the other side of the geopolitical coin, we have China, who it turns out is building infrastructure for a central bank digital currency, or CBDC, since 2014. The author Richard Turrin came on the podcast this week and can explain this whole thing way better than I can.
Central bank digital currency in China is a tokenized form of money where I have a digital wallet like Bitcoin, like cryptocurrency, where the tokenized version of money is actually resident on that digital device and held within the memory. And here's the most important thing. I can transfer money from party to party without the use of third-party services. And anybody who works in crypto is like, yeah, man, that's why we love this. That's why we've been using it for years. What, you guys are just figuring this out? And it's like, yeah, well, it's not a matter of that the people are just figuring it out. It's just that it's a facility that the Fed is uncomfortable handing out because it means a fundamental change in the banking system and a releasing of power from the banks, from Visa and MasterCard, from these third-party entities, and it empowers people. And that scares the living daylights out of the Fed and out of the banking system because it's a fundamental change in perspective.
I thought this was a fantastic conversation, but to be honest, it kind of terrified me. Like, China has this insane ability to mobilize, and I think it's powered by the fact that they like lean a little on the authoritarian side. You know, they're like a single party state. And on top of that, they're eyeing a smart contract platform on top of their already robust like fintech ecosystem with things like Alipay and WeChat. And it just makes me wonder, like, what does the efficiency of the Chinese state look like with financial superpowers that blockchains provide? Or what degree does it threaten US dollar dominance? Or like threaten the open, permissionless world that we're trying to build out here? Ryan and David discussed this in the podcast Debrief, available to premium subscribers, and definitely recommend it. On the more optimistic side of things, there was this really cool conversation on our State of the Nation with Optimism developers Carl Florsch and Ben Jones. And if you remember, Ben Jones recently made this banger.
Dumping is a tragedy and pumping is a crime. Wall Street but transparent and decentralized.
But Ben is also working on one of the coolest and most important projects in the whole space, and that is basically scaling out DeFi without sacrificing the values that make Ethereum cool in the first place. Slaying Moloch is something we discuss all the time, and I thought Carl's takes on it were really fascinating and big-brained, and his energy is off the charts.
As we know throughout history, power tends to corrupt. Why are you optimistic that this story is different?
Well, it's a game of hot potato. You can't hold the ring. You have to destroy the ring. You have to go venture and throw it into Mount Doom, right? Like, we are in a very key moment in history that will potentially bring us to good things, potentially bring us to absolutely terrible things. We are building all this open source software. We're all ideologically motivated. We're like moving towards this one direction, but there is a corrupting force, and that is money that is short-term profits over long-term profits. And that is a real issue. So what are we going to do about it? Well, one, we as an organization are, very clear and upfront. This is a power that we have. This is a corrupting force that we have. We are trying to get rid of it. It is terrible and we hate it. If we're going to get to that, slaying Moloch moment, we need to literally be saying every day, I am slaying Moloch. I am not going to try to do funny business. And get together, make sure people don't do that funny business,
Another project we covered this week is Element Finance, which is pretty hot right now and has been pioneering the space of fixed income in DeFi. And in the legacy world, fixed income is an industry worth well over $100 trillion, which is a lot. People really like yield, and they like dividends, and they like those things to be stable and reliable. And that's what Element Finance is seeking to do for the Ethereum space. As these products get built out, they will sink and become pillars of the DeFi economy. And as they gain trust and legitimacy, they're going to be attracting institutions and big money. And the CEO of Fireblocks, Michael Shaulov, talks a lot about onboarding businesses into the world of digital assets in the next Bankless podcast, so definitely keep an eye out for that. The last big topic we cover this week is Lido. Lido is a protocol for democratizing access to staking in Ethereum 2.0's proof-of-stake consensus mechanism. Now, to stake on your own, to be a validator, you need a hefty capital investment of 32 ETH, which is going for around 100 grand right now, as well as good hardware and tech savviness, because operating a node is not easy, and if you do a bad job, then your initial investment can get slashed. Lido seeks to make this entire process easier and is competing with other decentralized staking providers like Rocket Pool, as well as centralized staking providers, things like Coinbase and GEMINI. We all want a robust, democratic, fair ecosystem, and I think a huge part of that as we move into proof of stake is keeping access to staking like as permissionless and decentralized as possible. So we'll definitely continue to watch projects like Lido as we approach the proof of stake merge, either towards the end of this year or early in 2022. So that about covers the major points of Bankless content this week, but I wanted to offer some final thoughts. It seems like the space is speeding up every day, and it's already going so fast. We churn through memes and current events like at the speed of the internet, and our ability to coordinate and share information happens so instantly that it feels like you can't even take a breath. It feels like you can't look away from crypto Twitter without missing some massive event in the space. I would just encourage everyone to be mindful of this and know that it can be a lot for anybody. I think it's important to compartmentalize things. Topics like the infrastructure bill and the state of regulation are far too nuanced to squeeze into a single tweet, especially if it's memey and emotionally charged. So don't attach yourself to one-dimensional opinions and be thoughtful of how you're consuming information. If you are missing out on the Penguins frenzy, take a step back and remember why you're here in the first place. FOMO is a natural response to all of this, and it's not easy out here. So with that, none of this is financial advice. ETH is risky, DeFi is risky, but we're headed west. It's the frontier. It's not for everyone, but we're glad you're with us on the Bankless journey. Thanks a lot. I also want to quickly shout out our sponsors, GEMINI, Balancer, AAVE, and UNISWAP. We are really privileged to have sponsors that we believe in and are happy to promote. And of course, this wouldn't be possible without them. So thanks a lot, and I'll see you next time.
Hey, we hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, head over to Bankless HQ right now to develop your crypto investing skills and learn how to free yourself from banks and gain your financial independence. We recommend joining our daily newsletter, podcast, and community as a Bankless Premium subscriber to get the most out of your Bankless experience. You'll get access to our market analysis, our alpha leaks, and exclusive content, and even the Bankless token for airdrops, raffles, and unlocks. If you're interested in crypto, the Bankless community is where you want to be. Click the link in the description to become a Bankless Premium subscriber today. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel for in-depth interviews with industry leaders, Ask Me Anythings, and weekly rollups where we summarize the week in crypto and other fantastic content. Thanks everyone for watching and being on the journey as we build out the Bankless Nation.